Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on Unleashed with Kimberly, a conversation for insight and intelligence. I'm your host, Kimberly Anderson, and today we are still continuing the conversation with the ladies from my Unleash Your Inner Goddess virtual summit. I'm super excited to introduce to you today Burju Onarnel. I'm so excited to have you today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Kimberly. It's so nice to be here.
Yay! One of the things that I love is the name of your business. So let's jump in. What is it that you do?
I'm the owner of Marketing Coaching, and I help entrepreneurs and individuals to find their inner joy, find a better, happier life, and through that, create successful business and life. I help them in their marketing strategies, create social media campaigns, email campaigns, and also in their personal life. I help them to be more successful. Here, that's
I love it. And I absolutely love the name of your business, Joy. You bring joy with you everywhere you go. Your energy is very happy and joyful. How did you come up with the name Joy Marketing?
actually one of my spiritual friends. She came up with that name. You know, when you were doing freelancing and helping others, you don't really have idea. I didn't have the idea, but I was always smiling. I still do. Whatever happens in life, I always try to find joy. And that friend, my dear friend, she told me, "What about joy? You brought my life joy. You're the joy." And I was like, that sounds really cool. That sounds like me. And it's you know, when you say joy, there's no point. You can't be sad. You can't be demotivated. It's coming, like the energy comes with it. And why it's two Y's, let me tell you that too. Because it's not just J-O-Y, it's J-O-Y-Y. The last Y was coming from, we all need to know our why. And I always talk about, what's your why? Remember your why you do what you do. It's all from that, and that's that why. And also, there was no joy available at that point to get the name. So I had to add something, but it was like, it happened perfectly.
It is perfect because everything we do is basically sourced from our why. Why are we even doing what it is that we do? And I love that. I think it married perfectly with what you do and how you bring your business to life. It's awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So what is it that you would say really brings joy for you and then also for your clients? How do you help yourself find that and also with them?
I actually didn't really know where it's coming from, because since I was a little girl, I was always, if somebody was sad, I was thinking there should be something to be happy for. Like, there should be a joy in this. I was doing silly things like when I was a little girl. And then when I grew up, I had a tough time, like in society, economical issues. My dad was always like working, stressful life, you know, like the family. And I was like, why? Like, we need to have the joy. And I was trying to do that to my family first. And then when I get into business, I started helping my clients, starting with why, because I help entrepreneurs to find their joy and create better business. And I ask them, what brings you joy? Like, why you do what you do? Let's start with that, and let's find that sparkle in you. And then we can create strategies. We can have the money that can come later. We first need to enjoy, because if you didn't enjoy being an entrepreneur, you would have stayed in corporate job. You would have just stayed 9 to 5. Don't get me wrong, I'm not judging anyone, but if you're an entrepreneur, you have your baby, and you have to have the joy, you have to have the passion every single morning. So I start with that. using my coaching skills, and then we find what they really want to do, go through the strategies, and then move from there. And for my coaching clients, I do like deep meditation sessions and go deeper in their inner, more like deeper level. You know that better. So we find what makes them happy, and then put that in their personal life to get a better life where they can be happy no matter what.
I love it. So would you say that's probably the first step that you take with them, is helping them to figure out their why and where their joy comes from?
Yes. Yes. And that's the most common word on Google. Like that's the word joy. Everybody is searching. So I believe we have to start with joy. Whatever we do, there should be joy in it.
Yeah. Would you say people have an easy time with that, or a difficult time?
Difficult. So difficult because our mind works like a great negative machine. It always finds the most difficult situation, like hard times, like how can we be unhappy? That's like working negative machine. So it's not easy, not at all. And it wasn't easy for myself too, and I'm still working on it because it never stops.
Right.
We always need to grow and find what brings us joy and how we can take ourselves from like pain points and bring to life. It's not easy, and I have to say this because I am living in it. I lost my grandma a couple days ago.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And I didn't want to cancel this. I didn't want to just sit down, or like I didn't want to come up here and not put a smile on my face. I said, what is this? What's written here? Like whatever happens, you need to go out there and tell people how you still stand for you, for your business, for your family, for everything. Because I believe everything happens for a reason, and it's always for us. And I truly believe that God saved my grandma from pain. She recently got like dementia, and she didn't feel much pain, and she had the peace. So I was telling myself, okay, I'm grieving. It's not easy. It's hard, but at the same time, life is going, and this is a great example. Life happens always. You can't stop whatever happens. Okay, I am grieving, I can't do my business, or I don't want to do that today. Today I'm lazy. No, like we really have to show up every day, and we really have to find joy for us and for others. Like I need to stand, like stay strong for my family, and I am trying, I am doing. That's why I wanted to share this, because people need to know, like I'm not always joyful. My life is not perfect. None. Everybody struggles. But when you go on my website or when you meet me, you can't say like this girl just lost her grandma or whatever, because I am like trying to be there for others. We need to do this for every part of our lives. That's what I teach people to do.
Wow. It's such a powerful stand that you're taking, knowing that your grandma just passed. And again, I'm so sorry to hear that. It's such a heart-wrenching thing, especially if you were close, which it sounds like you were. And then you're living what you say help other people do. You're like, okay, there's always obstacles, there's always experiences in life, and you have to move through them and keep going, because life does keep happening with or without you. So I think it's just a powerful testament to what you do and how you live.
Yes. And also we have to remember it's not always us. Like we have to take ourselves away sometimes, like not be selfish, because right now what I'm doing is Not for me, actually. It's for my grandma. Because if she was here, she would have told me, you have to go and do your business. Put your makeup on you and do it. Why are you crying? Like, stop doing it. Because I can hear her voice. That's what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing this for her, for my mom, for my dad. You know, it's not always for us. It's not always us. I think this is important too when we are trying to do our business. I don't care if you're sick or if you have something. Like, do your business. You have to do something for others. What
Yeah.
what what we are having recently, like since 2020 came, like we have a lot of things like the coronavirus, other like racism, everything. Sometimes if you're not sick, okay, you don't have the corona, but you have to think about others. We
Yeah.
carry this. So this is like what we are learning and what we need to do, I guess, in life.
And so you're showing people how to navigate through those things, whatever it might be. And that's so powerful. I love that. It's about finding that inner joy and inner strength, really. It's kind of a combination of both, I would say.
Yes.
So when I talked to you and with this goddess summit that you were on with me, I learned a lot about you. And so when I think of you, I always think of how brave you are. And I would love, because part of your story and that piece about joy is how brave you are, and you just did things even though it was scary. I would love for you to share a little bit about that. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Really started about 4 years ago when I didn't know English, when I didn't have job in United States. I'm from Turkey, by the way. I was in Turkey 4.5 years ago, and I was lost in my life. I was a human resources specialist. I was living with my family, like had everything many people can imagine, but I was not happy. My soul was screaming that I need to create the joy. I need to spread the joy to more people. So I moved to the US for by myself. I didn't know the English, didn't have anyone, and just like Kimberly said, I guess I was brave, blind with my dreams, and I started over. I learned the language. I studied more of neurolinguistic programming, coaching, self-development trainings, Tony Robbins, Brandon Bouchard, all those great people. I went through all those trainings, worked with one of the person who worked with Tony Robbins. I worked with her 1 year, and then I studied at UCI, Media Global Communications. Then I learned digital marketing, finished those master programs, and finally got my clients. So I got into marketing too, as well as life coaching. And then when I got clients, enough clients to have my own baby, I wanted to create the joy, as I said at the beginning of the story. I create my company 1.5 years ago, and it's Joy Marketing and Coaching. I help entrepreneurs, individuals to find their joy and create better life, better business. So that's what happened in 4 years, and I'm so grateful that I did that at a 25-year-old. And now I'm in Turkey because of the situation, but my company is still working. As I mentioned, show must go on. I need to do what I am supposed to do. And I'm also a speaker. I motivate people, I inspire people as much as I can. I just love pushing people outside of their comfort zone. That's a part of my story because I left my comfort zone and find my joy, find what I supposed to do, discovered myself. That's what I'm teaching and showing people. I really hope everybody can feel that moment when I entered the plane the first time leaving my family and going across the country. That peace, that strength, that like dreams and everything, it's hard to explain, but when you can feel that feeling is when you follow your heart, when you follow your soul, you can feel that peace in you. And that was amazing. I never had that moment in my life again. Like that was my peak feeling when I was in the plane and flying to my dreams, flying to unknown, uncertainty, but it was the most peaceful time in my life, and I really hope everybody can feel in their life. It can be something different. They don't have to move another country, but whatever their soul screams for them to do, I am helping people to do that. I push them from their comfort zone and tell them, yes, you can.
That is just so amazing. You get on a plane to go to a different country. You don't have the language. You don't have a job. And you did it anyway. And as scared as you were, you're saying it was the most peaceful moment. It's because you were in absolute perfect alignment with what you were meant to do, and grow to be. And it's just so amazing to me. That's why I say you're so brave to, at 25 years old, to do that. And it's like blind faith, but you knew that's what you had to do. And I find it interesting too that you just had this pull. So your soul wasn't happy. You just had this pull to go somewhere, to be somewhere, and you listened to that. And I think that's a big piece of your story, is you listened to your intuition. You listened to that pull that you needed to go do something and fly to your dreams. I love that you said that. But that's so important, to listen to that inner conversation inside you saying, there's something else, there's something bigger for me.
Yes. Yes. I really want, like, this is my goal. Like, every morning I wake up for this. I wake up to share this to people. I wake up to show them that anything is possible. You can be happy. Like, you can have what you want. You can find peace. This is like my calling always, and I can't wait to share with the world more.
It's just awesome. What was it for you when you were feeling that pull that you needed to go do something? How did you decipher what that meant for you? How did you decide what you needed to do next? Because, sometimes we feel that pull and we're confused and overwhelmed. So how did you come up with what you needed to do?
First, I think very, very lost in your life. You have to feel very stuck and very unhappy. And I didn't know what was wrong. I was thinking, like, I have everything, why I'm not happy? And I started dreaming. I've always dreamt. I love dreaming still. And when I dream, I was not dreaming where I was at that time. And I started searching. I went through, as I mentioned, a lot of self-development trainings. There was no guidance. That's one of the things that I do. Like, I guide people because I didn't have one. So I am trying to help. I'm trying to help people to be their guidance, to find, like, the first step, what they need to do. So I found NLP training, neuro-linguistic programming, and I was like, if this can get me a little bit closer to what I want, I would do it. So at that time, I spent like my, I think 1 or 2 months salary for that training. I was like, I don't care. Like, I need to find what's happening. So I went through NLP training. I became an NLP master practitioner and a professional life coach. In that training, there was an example. That's what I do for my clients too. It's the clarity example. You go deep, like meditation. And then in that exercise, I had an aha moment. I was like, wow, I am speaking. I need to be on the stage. I need to write a book. I need to have my own business. Like, I need to be another country. Like, I need to be speaking another language to spread this to the world. I can't do this in my country. I can't do what I am dreaming right now in here. So what I need to do is, first, I need to quit my job. I need to find the way how to go to the US. And that part is all your spiritual level, because I didn't want to go any other country. My calling was United States, and my calling was California, because all those people who I've learned from, they were from California, and NLP was born in California too. And I was like, I need to go that place. That's my place to go and learn from the main place. I need to breathe that air. And I guess that's the answer of your question, is it?
Yeah, that was really good. You felt called. Not only were you called to a different country, but a very specific place, California. And because you followed that, look what you were able to create and look what you were able to do. I just think that is so fascinating and amazing and brave. I love that about you. So would you say that you were, what am I trying to say? You were, the pull to come outweighed the fear?
Yes. I had the best answer, probably. I had great clarity in mind. Like, that's the thing. I had no fear. That's the target. I'm going. I'm flying to Los Angeles, and I'm gonna see when I get there. Like, I don't have to know how my place looks like, where I will be staying, or like what's gonna happen next. And life, God, my spiritual guidance, or whatever, like however people call, everything that I believe, all the alignments pulled me to the right places. I flew to Los Angeles, then I had to move to Irvine, Orange County, and through people that I met, and it was just great alignment, great energy that I had. Like, everything happened at the perfect timing, because I was so in the zone. I was so trusting, and my faith was peak, and whatever happened, like all the struggle, obstacle, that's what I'm telling people right now. Love your obstacles. Love your outside of the comfort zone. Love to be that place, because that place is perfect for you to like do what you meant to do, because you're free. You're in the universe. You're flying. You're aligned with all the stars. You're aligned with everything in the world, and you're with God. You're with your heart, and just trust. Just listen to it, because that's the thing we are born with. And if you align your heart with your mind, then there's no fear left, because fear is something we learn. There's no fear. Fear is in the future, and it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it's not gonna happen. It's just a story that our minds create, and that's what I am helping people to get away from those beliefs and stories in your mind. As I mentioned, our mind is like negative story machine. Always works for negative. Always.
Wow, I love that what you said. And yeah, you're right. It's this controlling your mind in a sense. Like, you really need to understand that your thoughts are just thoughts. And when you realize that, the fear subsides, the anxiety can subside, and you're able to have that clarity. And I just love that you said that. It's such an important tip or tool, I like to call it, like when you realize how powerful your mind is, and it's always playing tricks on you. It's always, like you said, it's looking for, okay, fight or flight. You know, it's usually wanting to flight. Who wants to run? No, let's not do that. That might be scary. Something might happen and I'm going to die, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
So you really want to go, hey, wait a minute, brain, it's going to be okay. And you don't. The fear of the unknown, that's the thing, it's unknown. Nothing bad might happen. Something could be a little hiccup or a bump or an experience. But I love that you said, love your obstacles, love getting outside of your comfort zone, because that's where you really find growth, and that's where you really will see how great you can be and expand. It's just I love that. I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Thank you. And you can try this too, because that's what I'm trying. Comfort zone things like challenges, sports, like I've done Spartan races, I've done like pulling a truck, I've done rock climbing, all those things are great examples to win your fear, or like just find where is your weakness, how you face with those. I remember when I was trying to do rock climbing with my friends, and I came to a point, it was a rope course too, so you have to do it all together and go to the top, and it's like 4 floors. I don't remember how high it was, but pretty high. I remember when we were like doing the last part, I couldn't do the other rock. I could, but I was, and I was so tired. I was very like fearful to fall down, where nothing was gonna happen because you're like holding it with fire, and I started crying. I started crying. People were telling me like, "What is happening? It's hot. Come on, like finish it." And then when we came to the finish line, there was no like way to go down, so you have to do kind of short bungee jumping. And I was like, "Oh God!" And I was the only person among the girls. Everybody was sitting first. So you're like here, you're sitting, waiting, and then you let yourself go down, or you can just stand and jump. So like there was one person, and you go there and you talk to that person. That guy tells you to sit down and like count 3, 2, 1, okay, go, and then they go, or they just wait. And I went there and I was trying to, kind of still trying to bring joy. I was like joking around. I was like, what's happening here? Can I go in another way? I don't want to jump. And when I was doing all those silly things, I was standing, and the guy told me, so I guess you can just jump. You don't have to sit. He was joking too. And then I turned to him and I said, okay. And then I jumped. It was just very funny. It was very funny. But it's incredible. When you had those moments in your life, you're like, I did that. I can't believe I did that. It's then another thing doesn't look more fearful to you anymore. Or if you have more difficult time in your life, then you're like, okay, I saw a similar one. I can do that. I guess this is gonna teach me something too. Or when I find my weakness when I was doing all those obstacle races, and I was like, you know what? This is more like it's temporary. It's not real. It's more than that. Your life is more than that. You can do that. And yeah, I highly recommend people who are watching us or who will watch this later, if you're stuck in your life, go try something different. Leave your comfort zone, and you're gonna discover something else about you, and that's gonna bring your joy, and that's gonna bring what you're supposed to do in your life. Don't do the same thing over and over, because you're not going to go anywhere different. You have to do something different.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but I think it's important to realize you start to trust yourself. And if you step outside of your comfort zone and you start challenging yourselves, like rock climbing, and you had that fear and anxiety and that just tired, you don't think you can do it. And then you do, you learn more about yourself, like you just said, but then it's starting to build these blocks of trust within yourself. And then you can take that into your business and into your life and go, oh, I know I can push through that. I can do that. I don't have anything to be afraid of. And oh, that's just so, I love it. So important. I love it. It's so, so important to trust yourself. It's funny, that keeps coming up a lot lately about trusting yourself, personally and really in business, and knowing that you can do it, knowing that do it imperfectly, and even if it's with fear or just not knowing, so imperfect action,
Right.
It's taking that first step, and then as you keep doing that, you gain this confidence, that trust within yourself, and then you're like, oh, I can take a bigger step next time, or a jump or a leap, or I can run.
Yes.
And it brings you joy because it's that confidence.
Yes.
It takes you to that next level, and it's this constant, well, I was calling it you're constantly in transformation. You're either at one stage of that transformation or you're about to jump into the next. And trusting yourself, learning to trust yourself, and taking those little steps and doing it with fear is really where you start to up level, transform. And it's never ending.
Never.
You get to that one level and woo, we do it again, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think it's interesting. Thinking about your story, how you got on that plane, not knowing the language, not knowing what you were going to do when you got there. You didn't have a job lined up or anything. And you did that, even with the pressures from your family, because they didn't want you to go.
Yes.
But you had that great pull to leave and do this for yourself. And you were in perfect alignment, and which is why you had the most peace in that moment. But then you did that, which is huge. And not many people will take that kind of a step or a leap, really. And then here you are rock climbing 4 years later, 5 years later, whatever it is, and you still have this fear. Like, it can come up at any time, but you knew you could get through it because you had started trusting yourself and believing in yourself because of what you've done and accomplished in the past.
Yes, it's like a roller coaster. It never ends. You always have fears. You just learn how to play with them. And actually, it's funny because when you have more obstacles, you're actually more scared than before. Because I didn't know what was going to happen 5 years ago. And when I started having all those obstacles, and when people tell me right now, how did you go by yourself? Like, would you do it right now? And I was like, no, probably I wouldn't do it right now, because I know what could happen right now. I know what can happen. And if I am in that situation, of course, I face with my fear and I overcome. But once you get older, once you get more obstacles, then you have more stories in your mind. So it's always stories, and mostly negative stories. So once you have more obstacles and stories in your mind and see it from people around you, all those experiences, and you can relate, it's more difficult to manage those. So you have to train yourself more. So you have to do the work more than ever. If I was meditating once 1 year ago, now I am doing twice, because now I have more experience and now I have more responsibilities for my clients, for my business, for my family, and I have more, it's like I just shared, like life is real, life happens, and you can't control what's happening to your loved ones or what's happening in the world, but you have to find the way of managing your mind, your emotions. And if you can't, please find somebody who can help you. I'm not telling you to come to me. It would be great if you come to me, but find whose energy matches your energy the most, because energy is everything. And if you like me, come to me, tell me I'm struggling with this, how can I find my joy, or how can I lift my business up, I need this, I'm struggling with this, please help me, and I'm here. I can wake up in the middle of night for you because of time difference, I am doing it, but you need someone to pull you up if you don't have anyone. I struggled with that, and now I'm grateful to have my own coaches, spiritual friends, all people around me. If they weren't there for me, I wouldn't be the joy today. So it's very important to surround yourself with people who can lift you up, who are there for you. It's so important.
Yeah, it definitely is. You said something that's interesting, that you would not jump on a plane today or repeat what you had done 4 years earlier. That is really interesting to me. And it's because you know all the things that could have happened to you. I think that comes with age, it comes with experience. When you're younger, you're like, I'm invincible, you know?
Yes.
And I've actually recently had that conversation where you're like, okay, when I was, in my 20s or even late teens, I would have done this or that or the other thing. But as you've grown up 20 years later, there's not a chance in the world that I would do what I did back then. And you're right, it's because we have it, not only stories, but I think we realize the risks involved. And so recognizing that today is an important step in helping you to move beyond it. Not that I would go back and do the things that I have done before, or even for you wouldn't just jump on a plane and blindly go somewhere and not speaking the language and not have a job lined up. I think it's so brave though. But it's because I think we understand there's consequence and there's risk, but it's sometimes just blindly doing it brings us in alignment. And you were in alignment when you did it, and it was at that perfect moment for you. So don't be afraid of that either.
Yeah.
Especially, if you're, I don't know, I guess we'll say over 30, where the stories have really kicked in, you've had a lot of experiences in your life, and you're like, oh, well, this could happen, or oh my God, and I could die, So don't let that hold you back.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. And also, I want to add this too. It's always being in that alignment and that pull. Like, why I said I wouldn't do it right now, because I don't have that calling right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and during those years, my spiritual level have built more too. So I'm like, I am where I'm supposed to be right now. And I'm happy in Turkey right now, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm still open for anything, and it's all about what your soul tells you, I guess. Even if I said that, like, I wouldn't do it, it's of course a little bit of knowing the risks, and it's a little bit of not wanting that. And people, and myself included, I guess we all realize what's important for us, what's more important for us in life. When you get older, I think you realize more family is more important, or it's not important where you live, it's not important what you do. What's important is if your soul truly like stay in peace and you're with your loved ones. Like that's for me, at least right now. I am sad and happy. I'm happy that I am here because I saw my grandma last time. If I was in US, probably they wouldn't tell me, and I was not going to, like, I was not able to see my grandma for the last time.
Yeah.
Probably it can go with me like all my life, like why I was not able to be there with them, share the pain, like share, like just be there with them, you know.
Hmm.
And I did not know this before I was coming to Turkey. And that's what I said. That's why I said it's not always for us. Sometimes what's happening in our lives is for other people. Sometimes you are going somewhere, you're not supposed to be there, maybe in your mind. You're like, why am I here? And then something happens, and you're like,
Oh.
that's why. And it's not always joyful things. It's sometimes difficult times, but you have to be that way. Everything is just perfectly alignment in the world. Whatever happens, I start looking at my life, all the obstacles. That's why I love all of them, because I know all of them for me, for my family. Like, okay, what's happening after this? Like, what do I need to learn from this? It's always something. And what I'm learning right now, and I want to share that too. My grandma of same peace, she was the most maybe joyful person. Like, she loved traveling, she loved eating, having fun. Always, she was never thinking about money. Okay, if you like it, go buy it. You're more important, and go do something. And that's actually very interesting. She was the first and the only person in our family in the early age. She left the country to go and create a better life for herself too and for her family. So I'm the second person in the family who could do that. So that's very interesting too, and that's why I'm seeing interesting circle in the family. She was brave too, and she was always the last minute of her life. She always had her nails done, her hair done. She was a blonde girl too, those things. That's what I'm taking from her, and wanna tell everyone to enjoy their life. Like, enjoy. Every day is a gift, and enjoy every second. Don't let anyone or don't let anything pull you down. Like, don't let anyone tell you can't, or you can't buy that, you can't do that. If you want, do it, and just live your life, because that's what she did, and that's what I'm gonna do and share with everyone to do.
You have a lot of her qualities then. And I like what you said about it's not always about you, but it also is in the bigger picture, because had you not gone back and spent those last moments with her and shared some extra time with her, you would have always had this hole in your life that you didn't have closure. And so it was not only just to bring you there for your family, but also for yourself. But still, sometimes we don't see that. But in hindsight, you can go, oh yeah, I would have had this gaping hole in my heart that with no closure, and now you do.
Yes.
So it's really special when you can sit back and look at the situations that you've been in, and you went back to Turkey from the US, from California, which is where you wanted to be, and it's brought you joy because you're able to be there with your family.
That's true.
Even though it's a hardship, it's a, you know, devastating loss, you're still able to be there and bring joy to your family because you're there, you're back, you know, and they wanted you back.
Yes.
You know, yeah, I just think it's so sweet to think that you can look at your life and go, I have these qualities. You're the second person that did what your grandma did. That's very cool. Like, you have these things that you're able to realize now, to be able to, you know, hold on to those precious moments and those sweet thoughts. And like I said, you have those qualities of her.
Yes.
It's very sweet. I love it.
Thank you. No, I want to hug you now.
But I just love that. I mean, I almost always want to just call you Joy, because to me, that's how the energy it is that you bring. And so knowing that that's how you look at life and you offer for your clients, it's such an awesome thing, because people don't realize that's what's missing in their life. Joy. You know, and it really is. It's more than being happy.
Yes, it's different.
It is. How would you explain it?
I think it's a little bit like fresh air in your heart, and you're just happy for no reason. I think that's the difference between happiness and joy. You can be happy for like a specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
Joy is like somebody brings you joy, or like when you hear somebody's voice, when you hear the song, or just feel that energy, then you feel, oh my God, this brings me joy. And it's, I don't know, it's very hard to explain. It's the energy, it's the vibe, it's just a different, brighter place to be in when you have the joy. It's like you're happy, or you want to do things, like you're just like full of freedom, full of like life. You're just very aligned with the world. I think that's my definition.
Perfect. I love it. You made me think it's like an exciting. It's happy with excitement.
Yes.
Because happiness can be fleeting, it can come and go, but there's this joy that can be constant. Even if you're you're having a sad day or whatever, there's still that piece of joy that's within you, knowing that you're in alignment, that you're moving forward. So I think that's a good distinction. I like that. Perfect definition.
It's like when we look at children, I think we can find the best definition of joy. When you give them a candy, look at their eyes. Like they're super happy and joyful. Like there's no reason really. They just have that energy for life. They're just so in the moment. And the coffee is that way for me. When you bring me coffee, or when I smell coffee, when you tell me coffee, and I'm like, okay, I'm alive. Okay, my joy is back. You know, it's like you have to have something, I guess, to remind you joy. It's in you. But I think those things are important to remind you what brings you joy, why you exist. And it can be someone, or it can be a word that you hear or see. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and knowing that you can, I mean, it's within you. It's not outside of you, which is another important thing to remember and realize, that all of that is inside. Your happiness, your joy, all of it is.
Yes.
And even though we oftentimes look outside of ourselves and in an external world to try and fill those gaps and holes in ourselves, it's really inside. What do you have your clients do when you tell them, okay, let's help you get to that point where you realize that it's inside? What are some of the steps that you share with your clients, or even for yourself, that you use for yourself?
We can. I have 20 o'clock, which is a time for you. It's like kind of mix of meditation and all the trainings. Like, this is my way of doing it, and it's very simple. I can share here too. When you wake up or sometime during the day, but you have to be with you only, not with your computer, with your phone, with anyone, in some peaceful place. You have to have your cup of coffee or tea, whatever gives you that vibe. It needs to be hot, because hot drinks gives you that calm feeling. And you can start with 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however you want to do, how long you want to do. When you have your coffee, just close your eyes, stay there, take a couple of breaths. And I have a blog about this too. When people go to my website, they can read and follow the steps. But basically, the overall experience is you are with yourself and having the external material like coffee to strengthen the experience, because you're smelling and you're tasting, you're holding, you're feeling it. So that brings better experience. And then just think about whatever comes to your mind. That's a kind of meditation. You just close your eyes and have your coffee or tea, and then just take a couple breaths and write whatever comes to your mind. Of course, you're doing this like slowly, and that's gonna bring you peace, and that's the perfect first step to connect with your soul and start your journey to find your joy. Because you're finally, if you haven't done this yet, you're finally spending time with you. You're going on a date with you, and you're finally asking, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
How, like, we're gonna do this today, like, what are we gonna do, like, what do you want to do, what you're meant to do. You're starting asking those questions, and you're starting feeling. You can feel sad, you can feel excited, whatever it is, you have to feel it, and you have to move from there. And if they connect with me, I can share this like with them, and we can do this together, because it's long. When you do it, you can find the peace and start your journey. It can be your business or personal life journey, but it is possible with only a cup of coffee, a cup of joy.
I love it. It's about being present. That's what, when you're describing it, it's about being really present in your life. And when you are really present in your life, you're paying attention to little details, and those things start to bring joy into your life too. So how can people get a hold of you? I have a couple of things. This, I believe, is your website.
Yes, correct.
And your email. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, they can jump on your email, shoot you over a message, or again, they can go to your website. They can look